one of the signature features of the Trump administration, like so many other authoritarian regimes around the world, is corruption. And we just won the biggest victory yet in court against Donald Trump's corruption. Summary judgment, a final ruling that his name has to come off the Kennedy Center. He corrupted that institution. And then, as if that weren't enough, it was a 1-2 punch. The court also preliminarily enjoined the closure of the Kennedy Center and the suspension of programming there until the law is complied with, if it ever can be. So, major win against Donald Trump. Together with all the other victories we've had defending the rule of law, protecting our elections, a biggie against Trump corruption.
Norm, at this point, what happens to the facade of that building? Because if I'm not mistaken, Trump has etched his name into the building itself. And so what are next steps here?
Well, I was joking with my friends and family that I wanted, as part of the relief, to go up in a cherry picker and myself remove his name, feeding his name to the facade of the Kennedy Center. And now they are going to physically remove any indication of Trump off of that facade. I expect that there's going to be an effort to try to get stays, to stop it, emergency appeals, and we're ready. We have a team that is set to fight back on that, but they don't have a leg to stand on. There's no basis for Donald Trump's name to be on the building. The judge explained all of the illegalities here, and his name's coming off.
And there won't be any avenue for him to appeal this. I noticed that you mentioned that this was a final ruling. Normally, we watch as Trump avails himself of every appeal avenue to ultimately get up to the Supreme Court. Can you speak about the options that he has for appeal?
Yeah, he'll appeal it. But I think courts are seeing that outrageous behavior. And this is a particularly important one because Donald Trump has engaged in financial corruption. He's engaged in corruption of the rule of law. He's attempted to corrupt our elections. And he's corrupted the built environment of D.C. with all of these illegal projects and corrupted the memory of John F. Kennedy. And this initiative is pushing back on a number of those forms of corruption here. And I think that it is going to be very likely appealed, but the judges are going to see through it and they're going to knock it down.
Norm, this isn't the only case. I mean, you have God knows how many. How many cases are you involved with right now?
We have, when we filed this week on behalf of a bipartisan crew of 35 former federal judges to stop the Donald Trump $1.8 billion fund. That was our 308th legal case or matter.
Yeah. Norm, one other case that has just surged into the national spotlight is a complaint against Pam Bondi. So can you speak on that?
Yes, this is a renewal that Pam Bondi broke the rules of professional ethics and should face professional discipline in how she handled herself as a prosecutor. There are consequences, Brian. I work, for example, to help take away the bar licenses of some of those who participated in January 6th. What the lawyers who helped plan that coup, what was done here with Pam Bondi every day doing the bidding of Donald Trump instead of serving the American people, the Constitution and laws. The transgressions that she blessed raised the most profound ethics issues and potential violations. We complained about it when she was part of the Department of Justice. We were told, no, Florida bar doesn't want to consider while she's a sitting AG. So immediately when she left as AG, we prepared a new updated complaint capturing the wrongdoing. That's back before the Florida bar. These are such outrageous allegations that I think even in Florida, they're going to get a very serious hearing.
Well, is there some concern that the Trump administration is trying to kind of pull one over on everybody by not completely firing her from the federal government, but instead bringing her in, for these kind of symbolic positions? I think that they named her on some board of like science and technology. Another position has to do with infrastructure. And so technically she's still an employee of the federal government. Is that going to preclude you from being able to move forward with this complaint at the Florida bar?
No, it's not. This is about her attorney general activities. She's no longer attorney general. She's subject to professional discipline and the opinion of a bipartisan group of ethics experts and ethics organizations. She's richly deserving of investigation and discipline. We were all shocked by the way she served Donald Trump Apparently, even that wasn't good enough. Todd Blanche is plumbing new depths, and he's going to face his own ethics challenges as well. But this week, we filed a complaint on Pam Bondi. There'll be more to come.
In terms of the Todd Blanche of it all, Pam Bondi sat for a closed door deposition with the House Oversight Committee and spent a good deal of her time diffusing responsibility onto Todd Blanche.
And blaming him.
And so how are you thinking about Todd Blanche's role in all of this, especially as you rightfully target Pam Bondi for defying the law and abusing her own law license? Todd Blanche is doing the exact same thing, and in fact, now you have Pam Bondi on record pointing that responsibility to Todd Blanche himself. So this isn't like it's coming out of left field. It's not like it's just, something coming from the communist Marxist Democrats. This is from Pam Bondi herself laying the blame at Todd Blanche's feet.
We'll be using those statements that Pam Bondi made in our ethics complaint against Todd Blanche. And what he's done, Donald Trump, setting up this fund where there was no case or controversy, no real adversity. He should have nothing to do with a purported weaponization fund where the monies are being set up, a resolution of cases involving Donald Trump when he was formerly Donald Trump's defense lawyer. So, this is not going to stand, Brian. And what we're seeing now with the courts pushing back in our over 300 cases, there's a total of over 600 against Donald Trump. But in our over 300 cases and matters, the many wins we've had, the many other wins we and others have enjoyed, over 200 successes in court. The courts are saying, we are not going to tolerate this. And that includes the successes we've had at the Supreme Court, where we've represented municipalities pushing back on Donald Trump's abuses of the National Guard. I think we're going to be successful in the Lisa Cook case, his wrongful investigation, attempted termination of a governor of the Federal Reserve, protecting our monetary system.